And welcome, folks. It is week 11. I'm here with Professor Dayton. Uh, I'm feeling a little better this week. Professor Dayton obviously looks great as usual, sitting by the fire together here. So this week we are talking about contracts. So that's an area of law that you and I both probably spend most of our time in, right, Professor Dayton?
Yep. When my kids ask me what I do during the day, I tell them contracts. And that inevitably starts a conversation about what a contract is, and then they lose interest, but which is right.
You don't walk them through offer, acceptance, capacity, legality,
No, I really
consideration?
don't. I don't. Not as much.
Not so much.
Peppercorn.
Yeah,
They just don't care. As soon as I start talking, and they just walk away. So
that's what happens to me with most people as well.
yeah, on any topic.
On any topic, really. Yeah. What do you think is the longest contract you've ever reviewed?
Ooh. Hmm. I'll regularly see contracts over 100, 120 pages. Usually the longer ones are either purchase agreements, like people buying and selling businesses, or uh, lending arrangements that are complicated. So those get nice and long.
Yeah, I think the longest one I ever saw was a franchise offering circular, and that was well over 450 pages.
Ooh,
Yeah, that got dropped in me on a Friday, and the client was like, "Hey, you think you could get back to me by Monday?" I was like, "Okay."
do a quick look at this and just tell me if there's anything you see that's problematic. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's pretty typical.
yeah. So those are long. We'll talk about franchise agreements. Those are actually a contract issue. We talk about them more in the business organizations module. But if you've ever thought about, who's behind the McDonald's burger or Jimmy John's sandwich that you're eating, there's a whole lot of contracts behind there. I'm trying to think other kinds of contracts I do. So in the sports law world, um, I'm not an agent, so I don't handle contracts with the team, but I do a lot of endorsement contracts and a lot of personal appearance contracts. And then we also hire people like trainers and media specialists. So they have contracts. So what kind of contracts do you do in your everyday practice?
Sure. So I mentioned M&A, that's pretty heavy there, and then a lot of vendor agreements involving SaaS products. So if somebody has somebody else's data these days, they'll hire attorneys to spend some time on those.
When you say SaaS, you mean Sasquatch?
Of course, software as a service.
Sasquatch as a service?
Sasquatch agreements would be awesome.
That would be. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. There's a lot of issues around ownership of data and how it's used. Most of us, when we download an app or something, we just kind of click accept and go right through there. It's called click wrap, and we probably ought to be reading those things because who knows what's in there.
And they're absolutely enforceable.
They are. Well, we've sent everyone screaming already away from our fireside chat, so
This is not a puppy heavy chat today. We've done poorly.
yeah, we'd better wrap up. So this week, folks, continue on with contracts. First part of the module really focuses on what it takes to make a contract, and then the second part really focuses on what happens if somebody breaches a contract. What are your remedies? What can you do? How do you settle that dispute? Chapter 9 in the Lingwall book is very good on contracts, and it starts to get into the Uniform Commercial Code, which is what we're going to cover next week. And so some of that content is in your Lingwall book as well. You've got a break this week, no assignments due. Next week, you'll have Serial 4, and that has to do with reading a lease contract. So this is a very good primer on that. And then we are working our way toward the end of the semester. So we hope you have a wonderful week. Stay healthy, stay safe, and we'll see you back here next week.